Hello and welcome to Focus on Liberia. Tonight, our discussion is on Liberian communities around the globe. Our guest tonight is from Japan, Mr. Amos Bala. Mr. Bala, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. And thank you for having me this time of the morning here in Japan. It's 2:07 a.m.
All right. And my co-host, Ms. Danielle Knuckles, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you. Happy to be here and welcome again to you, Mr. Bala.
Thank you also.
All right. So at this time, we want to welcome our viewers across the globe. This is Focus on Liberia, which is in continuation of our series on Liberian communities around the globe. Tonight, we are featuring the Liberian community in Japan. That's Japan all the way in Asia. And we've been, the Liberian community there is being represented by Mr. Amos Bala.
Okay.
Bala, what's the time there in Japan, you said?
It's 3:07 a.m. right now as we speak. And
right.
It's Monday, 27 August.
Oh, you're already in Monday.
Right.
All right. What's the temperature look like?
Right now, we will be talking about maybe 38 degrees or 36. Actually, it has been hot in here in a few days. The temperature has been high. Yeah.
Okay. So while we wait for our viewers to log on, let's have a little bit of Liberian music. Please invite someone to the broadcast.
I'll be ready to go when the adventure comes. When the adventure comes, when the adventure comes, I'll be ready to go. When you go down the road, when you go down the road, when you go down the road, tell him hello for me. If you see my boyfriend, if you see my boyfriend, if you see my boyfriend, tell him hello for me. Banua, 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 love you. Banua, 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 baby, I love you. I love you, baby, I love you. I love you, baby, I love you. I love you, baby, I dig you. I dig you, baby, I dig you. I love you, baby, I love you. I love you, baby, I love you. I love you, baby, I dig you. I dig you, baby, I dig you. Banua, 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 love you. Kokoloko, 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 Chigideko Kodi, Eya, Magayeya, Eya, Chigideko Kodi. One more round, baby, one more round, one more round, Chigideko Kodi. Show me the river, show me the river, show me the river where my baby got drowned. Yeah, my baby, yeah, Chicky Crocodile. People go by your business. Nobody takes me but my people go by your business.
If you're just joining us, welcome to Focus on Liberia. Our guest tonight is Mr. Amos Bala. That's M. Amos Bala. He's joining us from Japan to speak on Liberian communities around the globe. Welcome to our viewers across the globe, and especially those in Japan. I know my colleague Lisa Holt from Japan is visiting USA. So welcome, Lisa, to Focus on Liberia. We'll be discussing shortly Liberian community in Japan. In the meantime, enjoy this.
You see my girl, you better pass by. Baby, oh yeah, I got my race up out of my shoe. Oh yeah, I got my race up out of my shoe. I got my race up out of my shoe. You see my girl, you better pass by. Baby, oh yeah, I got my race up out of my shoe. Mama, your young girl, stop drinking like so. Mama, your young girl, stop drinking like so. For the sake of my baby, stop drinking like so. For the sake of my baby, stop drinking like so. Mama, your young girl, stop drinking like so. Mama, your young girl, stop drinking like so. For the sake of my papa, stop drinking like so.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Focus on Liberia. Tonight, our discussion is on the Liberian community around the globe. This is in continuation of our month-long series discussing Liberian communities around the world. Tonight, our guest is Mr. Amos Bala. Mr. Amos Bala is joining us from Japan. He's our guest tonight. Mr. Bala he was born in Monserrado County. His background, he got a bachelor's in agriculture and general forestry from the University of Liberia. That's in 2007. Before going to the university, he graduated from Jimmy Jolokon High School, that's in Gardnersville. He worked with the UNMIL, that's the United Nations missions in Liberia, and also as an extension staff at Farmer Union Network of Liberia. Currently, Mr. Bala is in Japan going through an intensive training in agriculture, specifically on rice. Mr. Bala, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you, thank you, and thank you.
All right. So let me start by saying that was a brief introduction about you. Tell me exactly what you're doing in Japan.
Okay. First of all, I want to commend you for this platform and also the opportunity that you have given me to be able to showcase what I've come here for. Actually, there's a co-knowledge cooperative program that is being supported by the Japanese International Cooperative Agency, JICA for short. This program is intended to train extension officers in a specialized area. So the vacancy came up in the month of October 2017, where there were 2 applicants, and we applied, and I was shortlisted. So I came over to Japan.
And what are you studying there?
I'm doing the improvement in rice cultivation techniques, 8 months intensive training course.
Right. I love rice. Daniel, don't you?
I sure do. You're not Liberian if you don't enjoy rice.
All right. Mr. Bala, you are from the Liberian Scholars Association in Japan as a group of students studying right there in Japan. Tell us about that association briefly.
Okay. First of all, I will tell you a little bit about Japan.
Okay.
Japan is a country in Asia that is part of the G8, a very powerful nation in the world with 47 prefectures and 8 different regions. And I happen to fall in the Kanto region that has Tokyo, Toshiki, and different prefectures that fall within the Kanto region. And most of the participants are far away from where I stay, and the full-time master's students are also far away, like my colleague, Ambassador Dudubo. He stays in Okinawa region, where the U.S. military is stationed with 53,000 U.S. Marines stays there to protect the people of Japan. And 2 Liberian students are also here doing masters. One is on the ABIC scholarship and one is on the World Bank scholarship. So we are like 3 in total that stay in the Kanto region. One is Mr. Tukwa Yanga, and one is Zizi, who's on the World Bank scholarship, and another is on the African Business Economic Initiative scholarship. So Japan is a peaceful country. The Japanese are so much caring and loving. The only problem here is the language barrier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting you should say that. So in your studies, do you have to understand Japanese, or are you taught in Japanese?
Okay, first of all, when I arrived here in the month of March 2018, we had an orientation where they took us to the facilities of this JICA Tsukuba. JICA Tsukuba is the science city in Japan. So they introduced us to the various technologies, but we were guided by those who speak English. And we were also offered 1 month intensive training in Japanese to be able to learn the basic, how to interact with Japanese, how to get to convenience stores, how to use the vehicles, how to use ATM cards, how to ask people from the neighborhoods, and also how to interact with them. We're guided by a Japanese instructor who taught all of the basics to be able to stay for the time in Japan.
So I understand with Japanese, other than it being a different spoken language, they also have their own characters and their own, way of writing. So have you studied that? Have you learned that as well?
Actually, my training is basically done in English.
Okay.
And the Japanese got over 50,000 different characters. They have Kanagana, they have Mandarin characters, that's the Chinese characters. But in the 50,000, they have only 1,700 over that they use. But most of the characters are being borrowed from the Chinese.
So you mentioned being in Japan for studies and meeting other students. Are there other Liberians residing in Japan for reasons other than to study?
Yeah, there are Liberians here who got married to Japanese women and they got kids. They stay in Tokyo, they work in factories. Some are in smaller companies, some are in bigger factories, and they are doing pretty well. Like a friend of mine who has visited me twice already. He has his garage that he goes around and purchases the used stuff like used tire, used vehicles, used spare parts, and ship them over to different African countries.
Okay, so what is the the Liberians, what's the population of Liberians, if you can give an estimate of the total Liberians living in Japan? Where specifically do you live?
As I said previously, Japan has 47 prefectures and 8 regions. So I'm in Ibaraki Prefecture, and the city is Tsukuba. So I stay in the Kanto region. So I have not had the time to visit other Liberians in different prefectures. I have not really had the time, but I have been able to talk to them through our scholar chat room. Like those of us that are students, that are training, whenever you arrive in Japan, we add you to our scholars chat room to know your purpose of being in Japan, to know your kind of training, to know your status. Like in recent time, another librarian just arrived who's doing a full study in masters at United Nations University in Tokyo. So we added him also in our group chat.
There's a colleague of mine, we went to high school together, Lisa Holt. She said she would love to meet you. She also lives in the Tokyo area, and she wanted to meet you and some Liberian, but she's presently visiting the United States. She's going to be back. She works in Japan as well from the US.
Okay, that's great.
So we are striking a relationship right here on Focus on Liberia.
Thank you.
All right, so what is the time there in Japan right now and what the weather look like?
It's already sunny out here, and it's 18 minutes past 7 o'clock in the morning.
And that's Monday morning.
Monday morning, right? Right.
We are right here in the Atlanta area. This is 18 minutes after 6 p.m. Sunday evening.
Yeah.
So what a beautiful combination. All right, Mr. Bala, before we continue on the discussion, I want to play a few videos of you because you are in the rice business. So let me show my audience how you look like in Tsukuba. That's Mr. Bala right there at work and in school during his training. And Tsukuba sounds like a Liberian name.
Sure, it sounds like Liberian name, but it is not.
It's like when we're joking like Tsukuba.
Yeah.
Some music.
Yeah.
But that's good. Why would tell us, looking at the pictures, what's going on there?
Okay. The previous one that you saw me, that was the weeding, the first photo, the weeding. And the machine there is called rotary weeder. In Africa, because we lacking a lot of tools, we will use the small hooks to mow the wheat in the paddy field. That affects the bag a lot. So here, during our training, we use 2 mentors. We either use the herbicide to control the weeding, or we use this mentor. Then the other photos that you saw with the colleague of mine covering me, I was doing the data collection where I was checking the plant height, the tailor number, and the leaf color. The leaf color is being checked by using the LCC mentor, that is the leaf color chart. So the leaf color chart comprises of 7 different colors of leaf on it. So when the plant is at a certain level and height, the color is different. As it grows up, the color change. And the color change also based on the application of nitrogen fertilizer.
Come on, talk to me. I'm going to agriculture school now.
Yeah, so the other ones that you saw me like a medical person, I was doing soil analysis in the lab. We try to analyze our soil to know the soil pH. Because in doing rice cultivation, it is very important also to know the background of your soil. The background of your soil is very important for improvement in yield in rice production. So the better pH for the growth of rice should be 5 at least. 5. Less than 5, less than 4, it is not better. So we did soil analysis. We did dry matter weight analysis to just have a better yield, to know how you can be able to accumulate a better yield in your rice production. So as extension officers or extension advisor, you should have knowledge of all of these things to be able to pass knowledge on to your farmers.
So, Mr. Baha, before you came to Japan on this program, what was your experience in agriculture in Liberia?
To be frank with you, it was not at this level. It was not at this level. I had a little bit, not even an improved one. But right now, I am of the strong conviction that I can even be able to do better in Liberia. I can do changes when the opportunity is being given to me.
So in Liberia, you serve as an extension staff at a Famine Union Network of Liberia.
Right.
Expand on that a little bit. What did you do and what is that group all about?
Okay, Farmer Union is an organization that come together to monitor Liberians who got farms, monitor the activities of farmers, train lead farmers to be able to train other farmers. They also help them to provide inputs, but you have to pay, not free. They also guide them. When you also want to get into agricultural activity, it's almost like a cooperative.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Mark Kwiwogi Kova said on Facebook, thanks to the host and my colleague Amos Bala, I'm a Liberian scholar following from Oita, Kushu Island in Japan. Does that sound familiar?
Japan, I told you Japan is very big. Japan is very big. So from this show, I'm very sure that I'll be able to get in touch with most of my colleagues around here. It is very important to me, yeah, so that we can get in touch, and when we get back home, we can be able to have time to meet.
Right. You have another colleague here, Ambassador Dudu Boy. He said he's watching also. And you told me he's doing what? Mechanical engineering in Japan.
Yeah, at Kumamoto University.
At Kumamoto University.
Yeah, that's my senior scholar. He created this group, the Liberian Scholar. He's the founder.
Okay. He said he's following from Western Japan. His name is Ambassador Dudu Boy Momo Taylor Jr.
Right.
Ambassador Dudu Boy, welcome to Focus on Liberia, and thank you for your contribution. So the Liberians there, maybe your Ambassador Dudu Boy would know. Do they come together or do anything together?
Actually, since I've been in Japan, we have never had a gathering of a Liberian community. No.
But it's virtual. It's virtual through Facebook. I see. I'm even part of the chat group.
Right. That's the only meeting point. And it's very expensive in traveling in Japan, then traveling outside of Japan. You pay a lot of money when you do domestic travel, but externally, it is less. Like for example, here in Japan, when you want to use the taxi, maybe around 20-kilometer distance or less than 20-kilometer distance, you spend almost like 3,000 Japanese yen. That's around $30. And in Liberia, you'll be talking about maybe hiring a taxi for 6 hours, $5 per hour. So you spend a lot of money. So the Japanese don't use taxi often. They ride the buses. They use bicycles to go to places. So the bicycles are convenient for movement here. So finding someone who will visit a friend often here is difficult. So we always meet in our chat room. Because from Kanto region to Okinawa region is a distance, maybe 6 to 7 hours on the JR line or the Jobai. Or if you try to use the Shinkansen, that is the fastest train, you pay a lot of money, maybe 15,000 baht, that's $150 for one way. Yeah, so as a participant of JICA, it's difficult to move because you're not doing extra to have an income. So you can do a lot of movement. You have to save whatever compensation you have been given here so that after the training, you can have something when you're going back home.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Speaking of traveling, how did you travel to Japan from Liberia? What airline did you take? What stops did you make? How long was the journey?
Okay. I left Liberia on March 4th with Kenya Airways through Longay Airport, from Longay to Kotokai, Accra, Ghana. And I stay in Ghana I arrive on Sunday, same Sunday, and I stay around Osu in Ghana. And on Monday, because I was on an official duty, so everything was arranged. The Japanese International Cooperative Agency, JICA for short, they arranged my stay in a hotel, and they picked me up in the morning, took me at the Japanese embassy, where I met the present Public Works Minister, President of Honorable Mabutu Yimpa. He also went there at the time to get his visa to come over to Japan to sign the second phase of the Somalia Drive Road project. So we were at the embassy that morning together. So the visa takes 3 to 4 working days. So when I placed in the book, went back at a JICA office, we were told to come back and pick up the passport. So we came back on the Thursday and pick up the passport. We left on the Friday afternoon flight. JICA came and picked us up and took us to the airport also. So we traveled from Kotokai to Dubai. This time was by Emirates Airline. So we got to Dubai, we had a short transit there. So because Liberia and Sierra Leone don't have a Japanese embassy, so we need to go to Ghana to do the processing.
Okay.
So we went to Dubai, we had a short transit, and we connected with another flight again from Dubai to Haneda. So I came by Haneda International Airport. So the 2 airports in Japan are in the city, they are in Tokyo, Haneda and Narita. So that's how I came here.
Quite a journey.
Yeah.
Will you be able to go back home for vacations, or are you here until your education is complete?
Okay. Actually, my training is intensive. It does not have a vacation.
Yeah.
So there is no vacation for me. It's intensive. I must complete. When it's completed and be certificated, then I can reconfirm my flight and go back. So the training will be finishing around October 20th of this year.
So at the end of that training, what are you able to do? You know.
Okay. This is a very beautiful question. At the end of the training, if I'm given the opportunity, I want to pass on my knowledge that I've acquired from this improvement technology onto the farmers, and also share the knowledge with my country. Because if it was not my country, I wouldn't have been here today. So I need to give back in return.
So talking about agriculture now, I know there are some questions here because you are studying how to produce rice, and I see the picture. So specific. So right now, based on your knowledge, what are you learning? What the stuff that you are learning? How will you be able to apply? First of all, tell me everything. Give me a summary of those things that you learn when it comes to rice production.
Okay, thank you. From the inception of my training, the first thing you need to do as a good farmer or an experienced extension advisor or an extension officer, you need to prepare or provide a quality seed, or teach your farmers how to get a quality seed. That's one. Because out of the quality seeds, you'll be able to get a good yield. So we begin with the seed treatment. In treating the seed, there are two ways you can treat the seeds. Either by saltwater solution or by disinfectants. But because our farmers in Liberia, to be precise, they are, should I say, poor farmers?
Right.
They don't have a lot of money to buy chemical inputs. So we will teach them the lowest mentor. Every farmer in Liberia could be able to afford money to buy salt. So we could use the salt water solution, where you will use 20 liters of water and 4 kilograms of salt to place the seed inside at 1.0 specific gravity. That is the dead seeds will float on top of the water, and the ones that have weight will sink. That's one. Because if you don't do your seed treatment, some farmers go and just do the broadcasting method, put the rice on the seeding bills, or we call it in the standard form, nursery. You have to do a nursery management. So when you have not treated your seeds that way, you will see that there will be a lot of space provided. Those dead ones, the empty ones won't come up because there's nothing in it. But when you do your proper seed treatment, all of the seeds that have been well treated will germinate, and it will germinate uniformly. So after that, you will start to control. You will take your nursery box that you have sown the seed rice into maybe the greenhouse, or in Liberia, we can build a smaller shelter and just cover it with palm taches to be able to control the sun. And controlling, you need to control the rice at a certain level of temperature. When it is growing, that is, it's just germinating, you have to control it at least at 28 degrees Celsius. At that time, it don't need too much heat. You control it at the level, and always give it water. Give it water at most 2 times a day. When the rice is about that time, it should be treated like a baby. Always treat it right, so that it will be at least 2.5 centimeter or 3 centimeter. Then you treat it also with fungicides. These are improvements. The fungicides you are treating it with to avoid damage. That when you put it into the paddy field, it will not be affected with diseases or other different bacteria. Now, when you're doing all of that, you are preparing your paddy field also. You level your paddy field, you place in water, you do a normal irrigation. The irrigation should be at a specific level, not more, not less. Then you do your application of NPK. The NPK should have a specific amount. Yeah, that is the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Here in Japan, the number is different, but in Liberia, the calculation is 15, 15, 15 NPK. That is 15 nitrogen fertilizer per kilogram, 15 phosphorus per kilogram per hectare, and potassium. So with all of these, those applications is important for the growth of rice. So after that, you will also give it some time. When the rice starts to come up, maybe like after some days, like 30, 35 days, you start to do your data collection. And the data collection starts with the plant height. The plant height, the tailor numbers. Because if you want to know that your rice is really making an improve, you have to do this mentor. Because when you plant the rice, using 3 seedlings per hills here, but in Liberia, we are using the SRR method, the system intensive method. They use 1 seedling per hills. So the plant or less and get more. But in Japan, it's 3 seedlings per hill. And the density is 30 by 15. In Liberia, it's 20 by 20.
Right. So what I'm hearing there is because Japan is not Liberia. So right. For everything that you are doing in Japan, you have a way of doing that same measurement in Liberia, or to know exactly how that compared.
The training is being done in a way that whatever you acquire here, you can transform it in different form in your country. Okay. Yeah.
Is there a focus on using organic methods in your training? I hear you talk about the use of fertilizers. Do you learn about natural, organic means of fertilizing or pesticides? Natural means?
Okay. Yes, I'm learning that also. I'm learning because we are 10 participants from 10 different countries. That's Afghanistan, Burundi, Cameroon, Ghana, Liberia, Tanzania, Malawi, Zambia, Sierra Leone, East Timor. So we got a different experiment. As you could see the photos there, we got a team experiment of 2. The guy from Afghanistan and I, we are doing a similar experiment. So our experiment is on the effect of different nitrogen amount on yield. So meaning that whatever amount you put on the rice crop, it will show a difference. So we got 12 plots and 3 replications. We have N0, we have N40, we have N60, and N80. That means N0 has no nitrogen fertilizer. 40 has 40 kilogram, for example, 40, 60, 80, like that. So when you come to my plot now, or my feed, my experiment feed, you will get to know how important the nitrogen fertilizer is to the growth and increase in the yield of a rice production.
So this program, it seems, was set up through the government. Will you have a position in the government when you're done with this, or would you be required to fulfill a project once this training is done?
Right now, I can't tell what the future has for me. But I'm waiting also to give back to my country, because the best way you can enjoy knowledge is to pass it on. If you have the knowledge and you can pass it on, it is of waste. So I'm available. I wish to have a position to serve and also work for my people.
Right. So right now, and that's the main thing. We in Liberia, we eat rice. That's our staple food. This knowledge that you're getting now, prior to you going to Japan, do you know anyone in Liberia, or any group that was doing something similar or that have similar knowledge? I'm not saying you are the only one now, but at least do you know of anyone, so that when you go back to see which group you can align yourself with, even in the absence of our government giving you something to do?
First of all, I know few people that are in the agricultural sector, but firstly, we should try to put our country interests first in everything that we do. So most of the people that you know that also in the same area, at times when you get around them, they feel that maybe you might want to overshadow them. Like there's a guy who's also helping the Liberian. He introduced the SRR mentor. He's doing well. I must commend him. His organization is CHAP. He's doing well. But there's a colleague of mine who came here before I came. She's a female. She came from one of the local NGO, also responsible for training farmers and other different stuff. So when she went back with the knowledge, she went to the guy and told the guy that she wanted to share her knowledge also, because he came also to Japan for this training.
Okay.
So when he went back, he established his own NGO. At times, the government hired him to do some training through the agricultural ministry. So when she went there, she did one or two, and he saw that she was perfect, she was qualified, she could make her head. But later, he told her that there were no space, but when there is any available space, you're going to call her. Until now, she has not been called. So sometimes people feel that when you are qualified, they don't want to hire you. They are afraid, most especially in our society now. So this is why I said that we have to love our country, put our country first. Don't put your interests. If I have the knowledge, let me share the knowledge. Don't think that I'm coming to take away your job. Yeah.
If you're just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia. We are discussing Liberian communities around the world. This has been a month-long series. Tonight, we are focusing on Japan, and we are speaking with our brother, M. Amos Bala. He's right there in Sakuba, in Japan. And you have other colleagues that are there on Facebook. Faya Bobodi say, a colleague of mine will also be traveling on the same JICA scholarship, but in the medical engineering field. He will also be traveling to Ghana for visa before leaving for Japan. I really didn't know. All along, I thought Liberia had an embassy in Japan. I mean, Japan had an embassy in Liberia. You were saying it's not the case. You have to go to Ghana to process your papers.
Yeah, well, in the month of June, in the same year, 2016, I traveled to Tokyo. So they had a African festival in Tokyo. So the former Japanese ambassador to Ghana, he was serving Ghana and Liberia. So we met because I was helping the embassy staffs, the Liberian embassy staffs in Tokyo, because I went there mainly to interact with them, Josephine and Mr. Congo. So the Japanese experienced diplomat came to me and asked me, "Are you from Liberia?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, I've been to Monrovia. We had our embassy there before, but prior to the war, we moved to Ghana." I said, "You guys should try come back. It is so difficult for us traveling to Japan. We have to stay some time in Ghana to obtain the visa. This is so stressful for us." So he said that they are working on that to move the embassy back to Liberia in the future, but it was not specified which year. So on that same day, I was opportune to meet with Taro Kono, the Japanese foreign minister.
Okay. And Ambassador Dudu Bob Momo Taylor said there is a Liberian embassy in Japan there.
Yeah, right.
So, but it's not vice versa.
Right.
Mark Kowigo Cover, that's your friend too. He's doing international cooperation studies, majoring in public health management at the Mikan Asia Pacific University. Maybe you can call that better for me.
Yeah. Well, he and I talked before. He from that side. We talked before. We have met, but it's a distance, as I told you previously. It's very, very, very much far. We talked before.
Dave Jai is saying, can the pH of the soil first? How can your knowledge in that you are acquiring, how can that be applied in Liberia? I know you talk about that a little bit, but can you expand more on how the knowledge you are acquiring now, you can use it in Liberia to apply it?
Okay. The knowledge can be applied through an extension work. That is, we need to have a setup, a complete setup. We need to encourage private companies to establish extension companies. As people, we don't need only to depend on government to do all. The same privilege or right government has given to business entities to bring in rice, to bring in oil. As Liberian, we have the same right to establish extension offices. Here, there are a lot of private companies that are working in the area of extension. They are hired by farmers to come and train people in the area of soil treatment, in the area of chemical fertilization, in the area of machinery usage, because we are living now in the technological world. Even the Japanese that have the electricity rate of 100% here, they still need education.
No, you talk about extension work, extension officer, extension. What is that? Explain to me. I don't know what that is. If you can explain when you say extension officer, extension offices.
Okay, extension. As an extension officer, you are like passing knowledge on to farmers.
Farmers, okay.
Yeah, you are like a trainer. You are like a teacher, like that. You take and extend.
Good example. So Liberia rice production has been, I know the climate, first of all, we're in the tropical rainforest, and most of our local farmers, they do shifting cultivation, highland farming. Field will do swamp farming. Based on what you are learning, where are you going to apply that? Is it mainly or swamp farming? Do we have that? Or sometime, or like in Ghana, you have the savanna area that you can easily plow. Liberia with all this forest, how is the rice production feasible? How is it going to be carried out that we can have rice to feed ourselves?
Okay. First of all, we must address few issues in our country. If we address those issues, we'll be able to move very fast. And those issues are clearly seen. You need to provide the farmer with a quality seed. You need to provide the farmer with transport facilities. You need to provide the farmer a loan with a low interest rate. You need to provide the farmer guidance, knowledge that they will be able to work out better.
Okay.
Liberia, we have water. Like if the memory can set me right, I think the Mano River, right? Is it the Mano River, the largest river in Liberia?
Kavala River,
Kavala River, which is 518 or 515 kilometers. That water alone can serve as an irrigation for us to grow a lot of rice. Because here in Japan got less rainfall. So the mainly depend on irrigation. Irrigation canals are set up everywhere. Farmers pay a specific amount of money for these irrigation canals. So the upland farming does not produce high yield. The yield is very low. So to encourage farmers, we need to get back to paddy. The paddy rice has much nutrient and it has high yield because the paddy soil is very rich in calcium, in silicon, in potassium. At times, if you just don't even apply the nitrogen fertilizer, you see that the crop is growing very well.
What is that paddy soil? Do we go somewhere and dig it, or we ourselves prepare the soil? How do you get that paddy soil?
The paddy soil is the same as the swamp, just have water there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you because I saw in the photo there that you were plowing something and it's very muddy,
Yeah. So the photo you saw there, that's not a swamp area.
Okay.
That's not a swamp area. So during the season of rice cultivation, they open the irrigation canal and allow the water to flow there, sufficient water to turn the place to a paddy soil.
Like muddy, to make it muddy.
Right. So when the water is being placed there at a certain level, you use you apply your fertilizer. The first two you apply will be the phosphorus. In fact, you mix them up, the phosphorus, the nitrogen, and the potassium. Those three are done at BESA application. So you do the paddling, you mix those chemicals with the soil. So the machine you saw me using is like a mixer to mix the chemicals that we have applied already. Then after that, after a week, 7 or 10 days, the chemicals dissolve. Then you go to the field to do your transplanting.
I'm getting hungry already. Yeah.
Mr. Bala, you talk about Japan's irrigation system. Is an irrigation system as necessary in Liberia with as much rain as we receive during the rainy season?
Yes, it is. It is. If we want to have high yield, we should set up, because we got water. You see, because of irrigation, that's why Egypt, when you look at the rice statistics in Africa, Egypt has a high yield per ton. They produce a lot of rice. They depend on the Nile River. So they use the Nile as an irrigation to grow rice. They use the Nile also for electric power. So if the government could also help in that direction, then we could switch from the slash and burn to save our forest. Because there is no importance for the upland. The yield is low. So we go back to paddy, we'll have high yield, and we will cultivate. You can do 2 times in a year. You can grow the rice 2 times in a year. As long as you have sufficient water, you don't need to wait for rainy season.
And how big should that paddy field be? Because I remember I was born in a village. So I know my parents, they made farm, we went on the farm, and you have to clear a very big area. Okay. And it's like you take almost 8 months by the time you eat rice. But for the paddy field that you are describing, how big should that be to feed like a family of 5? So that you can even, on top of that, have something to sell. How big should it be? Like a football field?
No. That is so big. Maybe you talk about maybe 27.7 by 14.7, like that. Portable one to maintain. But if you want to do commercial, you need to make it so large and prepare your boundings. The boundings are like the mud you put around to guard the water from coming out. So the simplest method we can use, we prepare bounding. Even if it is a bigger field, we prepare bounding, and we get a canal connected to the field. We irrigate it with a lot of water. Then we can have a paddy field.
So for people living in, let's say Monrovia, for instance, people living in Monrovia, a lot of places in Monrovia will say old field, Barnesville, old field, even though people are building a lot of houses now like before, but I can just picture one of those field, those open spaces. We can have a paddy field there that can feed the entire neighborhood based on what you're saying.
Yeah, first of all, you have to know the soil pH, because you're not going to maybe take a rice and just place it in an area that is not better for the growth. You got to test it. So we need technicians also to learn about the soil. Then you can be able to use it. Yeah.
One of your colleagues in Japan is very much impressed by what you're saying, because he said prior to going to Japan, he was in Bong County and working with those cooperatives. So it looked like when he goes back, he's gaining knowledge from what you are saying, and that can be something that will be introduced. So based on your knowledge, what can you tell your friend about what he can do in Bong County so that he can get more yields from his farm?
Okay, if he's in this agriculture field, I will admonish him to do better agriculture practice, do the proper seed treatment, look at the temperature. That is when the rice is on the nursery. Constantly give irrigation. Observe the rice. The rice speak language. But if you don't look at it, you won't know. Sometimes the rice will say, I need water, but you don't know. You have to look at it. And when it's coming up, if you are not treated well, it gets very tight. And at that stage, there's a word, the tight one, it looks smaller. In the Japanese word, we call it chibio. Chibio is the small rice. So like that, it will be very tight and difficult to transplant in the paddy field. I hope you understand what I'm talking about, because when the rice is so small, it will be difficult to enter the paddy field. So it has to be at certain length.
Right, and wait.
Be easier to place it in the paddy field.
So Mark is saying when you come back, he's interested. He said we might need you for training in Bond County.
Yeah, okay, I hope so. And the spacing also is important. We use density to control the weeding in the paddy field, where you heard me speaking of 30 by 15. When you use the density spacing, you'll be able to weed, because the roots, the first root in the rice germination is the seminal root. And when that root is deeply granted in the soil, when you maybe doing the weeding, where you have done random broadcasting,
right?
Yeah, it's not in line. You might affect the root. The moment one of the roots has problem, probably you experience something in the rice stem. So you see that some rice, when they grow up, you see the panicles are like albinos. It's from within.
Right, they got that different color.
Yeah, it's from within the rice, because either the roots has been affected or an insect called stimbola. And the stimbola, the smallest one, starts from larva, like a worms.
Yeah.
From the larva stage, you see it small in the rice. So you'll notice that the rice, I'm sorry, I didn't send you some of the photos of that so you could see. So you will see that the rice will be getting different, colorish, yellow. The leaves will be like, some area will be spark, yellow, white, like that, the leaves.
There's a question on the pH.
Okay.
Because you talk about, because I was thinking about having a little party in front of my house in Barnasville. But now you talk about the pH. So Dave Jai is asking, also being a Jerome Cohn, they want to know if you can modify the pH so you can have the right kind of pH for the soil. So I have a lamb in Barnasville that I say I want to do a party, but you did your testing, it's not right. How can I make that soil right? How can I change or modify the pH and other things to make it suitable for rice production?
Okay, firstly, the pH is also important in rice cultivation. So when in our training here, we got artificial soil. We did our soil. We placed in the seeds, and it took time. So to compare the artificial soil with the natural soil, it's two different things. So you have to get similar pH from the seedling bay to that of the soil pH. If this two doesn't match, it takes time for the plant to grow. But on the other side, you will have to do some chemical applications to be able to match it. Like phosphorus, potassium, these two are important for strengthening roof and also for panicles also. And nitrogen is for increase in yield, leaf color, and sparklers and panicles.
So in Liberia, where will we get these things from? These phosphorus and all these chemicals, do we buy them in the market? We import them? Can local farmers get them, or we need a government to subsidize those kind of things?
These are some of the challenges and constraints we face.
Okay.
We need the government to partner with countries that have already gone ahead of us to bring in companies that can provide this stuff, that can train our farmers, educate them, have a lot of extension advisors, create a lot of extension centers. Japan got over 7,300 over extension officers just within the entire country, where farmers are 2 million. And to really live from where we are to move, we need to focus and increase the budget on agriculture, because our farmers lack the tools.
Yeah.
They lack the knowledge. Yeah.
Well, I understand JICA, the organization JICA, is who provided the scholarship for you to study. So do they also have any programs in Liberia for farmers, like an operating NGO in Liberia to help farmers?
Actually, JICA, through the Japanese government, is supporting a lot of projects, but they provide technology only. They provide the technology, that is, they train you, and they invite experts to undertake some projects, like the Somali Draft project. It's being done by the Japanese government through JICA and Nippon. Nippon means Japan. So the company is a Japanese company that doing the road project. So they also, I remember back in Liberia, there's a Japanese project that was done right behind the GFK there, right? If you can recall, the medical center, it was being built by the Japanese government also. So JICA is like the eye for the Japanese in Liberia. Whatever project that is needed to be done for our country, the funds pass through JICA, because JICA is like the middleman. So the taxpayer money is being extended through them to be used in the proper way through JICA.
Ambassador Dudu Boy Momo Taylor is trying to do some comparison here. He said, a point to note, with Liberia location in the tropical forest belt with good alluvial soil and good given seasonals that is equal all year round, is far better than Japan.
Right.
Japan is surviving on greenhouses farming by irrigation and advanced agricultural machinery.
Right.
We are still practicing shifting cultivation and hard labor subsistence farming by using cutlasses and hooks. 95% of Japan's geomorphology is covered with mountains and mountain ranges. Your comments on that observation?
Yeah, okay. First of all, I want to say that's a good one from the comrade. But as I said previously, we as a nation, we can't do it alone without the support from national government. We need to increase the budget. Most of the farmers here, they are part of cooperative group. And the cooperative group is very strong working with them. They control the price of their product. It's fair. You find it on the internet, how much they will sell a ton of rice, a paddy rice, how much JA is going to get it from a farmer, how they could get a loan, how the product are being packaged, when they will have their money like this. So if all of these things are put into right position, we have the manpower, like lofa. Empower the people in Lofa to grow rice, empower the people in the southeast to cultivate fish, to catch the fish and supply the city. Like I came from Niigata. Niigata is the highest producer of rice in Japan. When you see a farmer feed there, you say yes. And a farmer in Niigata has over 1.5 million United States dollars as an income. They work very hard and live like king. So in recent time, I left from Ibaraki. I went to Niigata on a homestay. I was staying with a Japanese family. It was not easy, but I tried to speak out my little Japanese that I learned previously. So we try to learn their way of farming. We try to understand how things are like when you are in Japan. So the farmers I stay with, they are very rich. A farmer has a combined harvester. He has tiller machine. He has cultivator. So the only thing he does is that when his rice has reached a harvest stage, he uses the combined harvester, do everything, package it in the bag, and call the JA. They come and pick the rice up and tell him how many days they transfer his money to his account. So like in the past, we had a LPMC that generated 50 million United States dollars annually. That was a huge amount that was being contributed to our economy. Unlike now, we don't know what is happening. So we need to come back. We need to come back into the field of agriculture. Let our young people be motivated. Let them be trained. Let them be motivated, not only growing rice, but we can also learn horticultures in different areas. We don't need to import pepper, beans, and we got the soy. All we need is the motivation from the government. They try to increase the budget. 1.5 is very little, for example, to control farming in Liberia is very little.
So we talk about rice farming, but other forms of agriculture. You were alluding to that shortly, like animal farming.
Yeah.
Even though you are doing the rice thing, but what is your experience with other form of agriculture, like animal husbandry and all the rest of it? Maybe we can be growing snails and dogs.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. You see snail. Snail is being, the grow snail in Thailand. I was reading about it the other day. I had a little bit of knowledge on it. The slams from the snail is being used as a body lotion. And people are growing slow. After our show, I will send the link to you so that you can read about it. Now in Liberia, we are wasting the slam. In Thailand, the people grow the snail and use the slam of the snail as a body lotion, as a shower gel. The highest purchaser of that are Chinese tourists. When they get to Bangkok, they go to the shop and buy. The lotion is called Snail. Snail, that's the name. Snail. Now, when I visited Ningata, I visited a place called Agro Park. We also need Agro Park, agricultural park, that will share knowledge. In this agricultural park, we will have a store that will sell produce that have been grown by farmers at a very cheaper rate. Organic stuff. Like for example, if it is potato green, you will find a fresh one in the agro shop. If it is palm cabbage, you will find it there. If it is new rice, you will find it there. In the agro park, there are accommodations that farmers who will come from longer distances, like Lofa, like Bomi, when they come to the city for training, they can have a short stay in the accommodation and also undergo the training. You'll find people being taught how to prepare tomato paste. We're growing tomato. We should prepare tomato. We're growing. We were talking about the animals. So there were 2 cows that I saw there also. The Japanese brought those cows. They are American brand. They brought them from the US, and they are there for only milk. Milk. They got 20 liters out of those cows, each of them, 20, 40 liters fresh milk. We are importing milk. You would hardly find fresh milk from a cow in Liberia. People are not knowledgeable to that. The only thing we see is that people go to cow factory and ask the people, give me 2 pounds of meat, give me 3 pounds of meat, give me the labor or the glazer or the skin or the towel. We should encourage people also to do these things so that we can be able to live better.
There's a question here on Facebook from J. Jacale. He said, are there no side effects health-wise from those chemicals that you are using in the soil to grow the rice?
Actually, every chemical is not free. It's not free from effect, but it depends on the amount that you're going to apply. Yeah, there's a specific amount you must apply. So farmers also need to have knowledge of how much. So this is why I was talking about the amount, because I'm doing amount.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you're doing amount, for example, if you have a bigger field and you're using 50 kilo per hectare, you divide it into 2. The first phase is at Besa. That means before you plant the rice, you apply it in the soil. The second phase is a panicle formation, where you see the flag leaf. At that stage, the rice will only absorb the nitrogen from the leaves. But at Besa, the rice will absorb the chemical fertilizer through the roots. And from there, they get their food. So from the final stage, which is PI stage, the chemical that will be applied to the rice, they get it from the leaves. And they also increase the sparklets, increase the panicles. So at that point in time, the panicles are already at maximum tailoring, where you have already, from the start of the transplanting, you planted 3 seedlings per hills, and you notice that from the application, they have passed 3. Some are 15, some are 20, some are 25. I don't know as to whether you understand what I mean by tailors. Tailors are almost like the stems that expand as the rice grows. When you apply, they expand. When you put 3, you get to know that it is small. So that's why we term as tailor.
Jay is still asking. He said he heard you talking about, maybe having an opportunity to have a position when you get back, and you spoke of your colleague who also went back, and she worked for some time. They said, "Well, we don't need you." So he's asking, is there a way that you and that colleague and other people with similar background can band together and ask the government or anyone for loan so that you can start your own farm or start your own extension work?
Yeah, that's a very good one also. But our old people always say it as a parable. They say you first have to wash your stomach and someone will wash your back. So anybody who will want to give us loan, they will first of all want to see what we are doing. And everything require capitals.
Yeah.
So if you want to start a small project to make it very efficient, you must have portable stuff. Like at the moment, I'm in contact with an Indian company that have materials for farming that you can cultivate a bigger plot, one person, I alone, with those tillering machines to plow the soil and level them. I alone with those machines, I can do it. I can do the leveling, and the amount to have those equipment as a starting point could cost like maybe just 25,000. And I said that to set up a good stuff. Not about buying vehicle yet. It's just about buying equipments and to set up, because there are a lot of places in the country that like Lofa that are vacant and that are good for rice cultivation. You can even do a well closer to your paddy field and get a maybe 4-inch water pump and drop the hoods in the well and allow the water to flow, and you get a paddy field.
Right. That's a good one, because you may not have that irrigation technique yet, but you can use that well and pump the water from there.
Yes.
Or even get it from a nearby creek.
You just check around. If you see a creek closer to you, you drop your hoods in it and then allow it flow. After you have done your ban, you allow it flow in it. You do your application from there. You can do your transplanting either by land method. People help you to cooperative farming, or you use your tiller machine to transplant. Transplanter.
So another suggestion would be like maybe like a project proposal. After you graduate and you have a proposal as to how you can make a farm or grow it, and do a proposal and see which NGO or government can buy into it, even if that means borrowing the money and paying back later.
Yeah, sure. We are also planning in that direction.
That's good. Better Stewart say, when I was little, the Chinese use an area in Foya to grow rice, maybe the kind of similar method. Samuel Oduwole say the government have to invest financially in these agricultural projects that will generate funding as a result from the sales. So Kendi Moore, exactly what I was saying, Kendi Moore say, get a proposal together and present it to the agriculture minister in Liberia. And maybe give FOL a copy and see who we can talk to as well.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. And agriculture is one of the areas that can really employ a lot of young Liberians, even if it would be at the low level, people working on the farm, the day, the hours, it will help them. Because I remember back in the days, I was still young, not knowledgeable to what we are discussing now. The farmers used to do very well, send money to the city, to children to pay school fees at university level, at high school level. And at the end of the graduation, they will come to town with new rice, they come with the meat, they come with the fresh oil to just celebrate. To celebrate.
Yeah.
So if we could do the same and come back to put in more, I think Liberia could be full sufficient in that
Yeah.
area.
What's about schools, like schools, high schools, colleges, university having their own gardens? How, just a school, especially a school in the rural areas and other areas that have land, that even in the backyard, if you put a little patty, maybe that can help feed the school, even if you will sell those. I know that one school in Monrovia, Rick's Institute, is doing some agriculture, and my colleague there tells me that it's working well for them. What will you advise schools to do when it comes to these things? Maybe schools can afford to have some of these things that you're talking about.
Yeah, that's also on my mind. I'm trying to contribute also as a alumni of the Jimmy Local High School. I want to go back and also talk to the administrator so that I can have time to train some of those senior students that when they have little knowledge after high school, maybe they can enter the University of Liberia and have interest in doing agriculture because they will have the basic. I will explain to them how it's like, how it's profiteering and what it can do for the nation. Then we'll start working from there because our school, the entire facility is established in a swampy environment, a water area. So the land has been drying by the principal preparator from 1992 until now. There are still some space that we can do maybe a farming fee that we can use to train people and tell them that this place will be our area to come and train how to transplant, because you can just plant the rice anyhow. There is a specific depth that you need to put the rice in the soil, maybe at 3 centimeters. So people need to also have knowledge of that. The difference between the direct seedling and transplanting. The transplanting is 3 centimeter depth, and the root is not so grande as compared to the direct seedling. The direct seedling, the roots are so strong because when it germinates, it goes down and hold the soil firmly.
Let's talk about the machinery, the equipment. There are questions here. Samuel Oduwole saying, how do you maintain those machinery used on the farm? Because getting the machine when they are new, that's one thing. In case they break down, do we have knowledge to fix them, or how can that be done?
Okay, now, if we have a cooperative in Liberia, they will have area for the sale of the product. They will tell you how much this is on the market for. They will have area for packaging. They will have area for maintenance. We're not going to allow farmers to just take their machine to any garage, because we get a lot of crooked they call it mechanic. So you take your machine to the mechanic, maybe they mess it up and you are getting ready to harvest your rice, it's delaying. So, but when you take it to the cooperative, because they have all these, they will give it to you on time. because they are also generating income from farmers. They are working together. That's how the JA is like here. As the farmer bring, there's a percentage they are also getting. So they have all of the inputs, chemical, herbicide, fungicide. They have everything there. Farmers come there and get it from there. So we use the cooperative to maintain our machines. We're not going to take the machines to maybe Center Street Garage or taking it to Ghanansville, the Sawa Garage. No, because the Liberians mechanic, some of them, they are not sincere. The problem that is not with your machine, they will make it bigger. So it's better that a cooperative who knows everything about you will maintain. They will also find credible people to employ them as mechanic. That will be full-time worker. That when a farmer just say, hey, my harvester has a problem, they will pick up the tow truck and get it right to their workshop to maintain it and give it right back in time. Like I just told you, I visited Ngata. I saw all of these ideas. The moment they finish, they put a machine back on the truck and deliver it to the farmer. Because a few months from now, the farmers here will be cultivating their rice. Like on the 15th, we'll be cultivating, we'll be harvesting, right? Our Japanese rice that is called Akita Komachi. There are two famous varieties here, Akita Komachi and Kuhishikari. These are Japonica varieties. So mine experiment is on Indica. And Indica is the one suitable for Africa because of our climate.
So that Indica, how will you call it in Loma? Because when we go to Liberia, we're not going to call it Indica anymore. We got to find Loma name for it.
Igbandi.
Okay, Bandi, what will you say?
Okay. Bagohai.
Exactly.
Bagohai. It means long green.
Exactly. So, and talking about the equipment, Ambassador Dudu Boy Momo Taylor said that's why he's there for. He's studying mechanical engineering.
That's a strong man. I salute him. Very strong.
He said this is the reason why I'm here in Japan with specific focus on that area.
Yeah.
So, and that's why it's important for us to come together, so that to find. There's a question I know you kind of answered it before, but Panado is saying to compare swamp versus upland rice farming, which one has a higher yield per hectare?
Okay, the swamp.
The swamp. And you said it's not merely, but we can make our own swamp by irrigating.
Yeah, sure.
If you just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia. We are speaking with Mr. Amos Bala from Sakuba in Japan. He's representing the Liberian community in Japan. And we also have his colleague, Ambassador Dudu Boy Momo Taylor. He's also in Japan studying. These are a group of students in Japan. Most of them went there to study, and they have come together under the banner of the Liberian Scholars Association. Because of transportation and other reasons, they normally meet virtually. That is via social media, and they are doing everything possible. So if you are in Japan, they first want to know your whereabouts and what you're doing and see what help they can give you. So this again is in line with our month-long series, Liberian Communities in the World. We have Liberians, probably maybe the war may have contributed also, but we have more Liberians living in different parts of the world than ever before. We've been used to Liberians in America, Great Britain, Canada, and all those things, but believe it or not, there are Liberians all over the world now. We have had our Liberian Association in Netherlands, in Norway, in Ukraine. Today we should have had the Liberian Association in Germany, but the guest is not well, so we're going to reschedule for next week and also talk with someone from Australia. Again, welcome to Focus on Liberia. You can contribute your comments or questions on Facebook, or you can call out. I think our guest relations manager normally posts the call number on Facebook. One more question from Mr. Panendo. He said, having schools in rural Liberia engage in farming where there is abundance of land is an excellent idea. I think you agree.
Sure, 100%, 100% agree. Yeah.
Mr. Bala, we spent quite a bit of time speaking on agriculture since that is what you're studying. But since you've been living in a foreign society in Japan, almost a year now, what else from your experience would you take back to Liberia? What have you seen from the Japanese society or their way of doing things that you said, okay, we probably should do something similar in Liberia, or, oh, it would be great if we had this in Liberia? What else from your experience do you wish to take back?
Okay, one of my experience that I've seen over the months that I've stayed here is hard work. The Japanese work very high. They work over 15 hours a day. And the shared knowledge, they are very, very kind. Just part of the language, they are good. They will always encourage you, even if you don't have the understanding. So I would like to go back to Liberia with the form of education that they are imparting into me here. Like most of the work that I would like to do, I want to do it through visualization, where you will show an example out of a brochure or through PowerPoint presentation, or maybe through jingles, radio shows of many kind. Because if you don't show to people what you have acquired through pictures, they don't understand. So the Japanese, most of the training that we acquire, after a few times, you must come out and explain through PowerPoint. You go to the book, prepare your PowerPoint presentation, and you go and explain to your colleagues. And after that, the technical advisors will tell you how is it like. So, like in recent time, all of what I have been doing, like there's a software called ANOVA. ANOVA is a software that calculates the data collection analysis. So when you have an ANOVA is done in an SS spreadsheet, you just enter all of the data and it gives you automatic answers. So after that, you will have to get a graph. You have to get your graph in every month. How the leaf color change went up. What was the cause of it coming down? Whether by temperature, high temperature, or low temperature, whether by low water supply, and the theta number, how did it increase? Whether it increased by the application of nitrogen fertilizer, and the plant heights, how did it increase? You have to show them by graph. So it is very important to show your farmers or whosoever students that are sitting to watch your explanation. Mainly, let it be done by PowerPoint, especially the educated people. But farmers, show the farmers the pictures, explain to them, show them videos of what you are speaking about, like the SWOT solution mentor.
Okay. I know it's in the morning. You miss your breakfast already, as you told me earlier. So we'll be letting you go shortly so that you can. I don't know if you're going to school or today.
Yeah. 9 o'clock, 9:30. I'm supposed to start class. Right. And I got up this morning, 5 o'clock. It's already 8:41 here in Japan.
Okay.
So
let's conclude on your final thing. What you want to tell us Liberians around the world. What you want to talk to Liberians in Liberia, what you want to say to the government, and what you want to say to even your colleagues right there in Japan, other places. Tell me your final thoughts before we can wind this down.
Okay. To conclude, I just want to say ask 4 questions to ourselves as a nation. How we can improve agriculture? What do we get from agriculture? And what improve crop production? And how can the government help us? And all these questions, if we ask ourselves and have a response, we'll be able to move. Because we could be able to practice a very good agriculture when we have a good transport facilities, when we have a financial institution that will provide some funds or loan for small farm holders to take them from subsistence farming to commercial farming, especially as the theme of this government being called the pro-poor government. So they need to take small whole farmers from that position by providing them farming utensils so that we can be able to produce food and feed ourselves. We shouldn't be always beggars or to continue to import rice from outside every time. Like when I was in Liberia, I always say, I like butter rice, I like butter rice. I did not know the varieties at the time, but the rice below 2.0 millimeter in length and weight is Japonica, that's Asian variety. So above 2.0 millimeter is Indica variety. Indica varieties are the one we grow in Liberia, like IR28, Bastima, Narika 1, all these are indica that were brought in by the new rice in Africa. So that's the meaning of Narika, new rice in Africa. So my colleagues that are here, I just want to urge every one of us to keep focus and put in more time so that whatever we have come here to learn or to have as a training, like another senior brother who is at TRC, the Tokyo International Center, is one of the directors at the health ministry in person of Mr. Bala. He's president in Hiroshima, the area that was bombed by the US military during the World War II. He gone there on tourism. He stayed on his study tour. So he's there also, he will be coming back. So I also want to urge him to put in time and learn the best so that our medical sector also could be improved. I also say to my brother from Kumamoto, ambassador, to keep pressing. My brother also from the 2 guys from Tsukuba University, Tukpa Yanga and Zeze, the 2 of them also. One is doing economics and another one is doing the waste, I think waste management or waste policy. He came on the RB initiative that through his workplace, the Firestone. So he's in the waste management area in Firestone. So I just want to say thank you for having me on this show, and thank you for allowing the world to see me, to know me, and to understand what I have in me. I'm willing to serve my country in my area of specialty, even today, tomorrow, and now. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bala. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your experience in Japan with us, sharing with us your knowledge on agriculture and how we can apply this in Liberia. While we've been during this series, one of my major takeaways is what are we learning in the communities we live that we can take back to Liberia? So we all have a responsibility to just learn from the people around us and where we are and take the best of those things back to Liberia to help it to improve and just get better. So once again, Mr. Bala, thank you for joining and thank you for sharing your knowledge with us.
Right, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.
Next week, Sunday, we're going to be having the representative from Australia and also from Germany. We have Liberian communities in those places. They're going to be sharing. That will be concluding our series on Liberian communities around the world. Again, Mr. Bala, we want to thank you so much, along with your man, Ambassador Duduboy Momo Taylor, and all the folks right there in Japan, throughout the prefectures of Japan. We want to say thank you very much. To our viewers across the world, we say thank you so much for hanging there with us. Thank you for watching. Until next time, my name is Dennis Jah with my co-host, Mrs. Danielle Narcos Gustad, and we say so long.